Hi there, welcome back again with SaaStock. So today we are here for the second day of SaaStock Dublin, and I'm here with the one and only Guillaume Cabane.
Hey, thanks for having me, Melanie.
Yes, thanks for having me. So Guillaume, for the people who don't know, can you describe yourself in a few words before we start?
Yeah, I'm French and I'm crazy.
You're French and you're crazy.
Yeah,
I love that.
And it's worked pretty well for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's who I am. I started in, I'd say, marketing almost like 18 years ago now.
Wow.
It's a
So
long
how
time
old
ago.
were you?
I was 20. I
when
started
you started?
I started at 19, so I did 5 years at Apple in like online B2B sales from 2003 to 2009, which was like an interesting time. And then I ventured in a couple of different ways, different startups. I was an entrepreneur, a failed entrepreneur. That's important lesson. Yeah, and then I worked at a couple of B2B SaaS companies.
Okay.
And more recently, I've been VP of Growth at Segment, VP of Growth at Drift.
Wow.
And now that I have my own advisory business.
Okay. Have you always considered yourself as an entrepreneur, even the time you were working at Apple, or did this come a bit like after? Like, what made you?
I don't think I'm an entrepreneur. I help entrepreneurs. I support entrepreneurs. I'm close to entrepreneurs. I try to be an entrepreneur. I don't think I'm an entrepreneur.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Why don't you think? I mean, what's the definition of an entrepreneur then for you?
For me, it's someone who builds their own project to accomplish their own goals. I do not build my projects. I help other people with their projects. I think that is the difference, right? I'm not building a company to change either the world or even part of it. I'm not doing that. I'm helping people succeed in that direction. And I think that's where I'm the best. I've realized, like, in life, like, you only have like so many weeks of life, right? A couple hundred. I've realized, like, where can I have the most impact? Is it by like trying to be a better entrepreneur than all the others? Do I really have so much ego that I believe that I can be a better founder and build a better product than anyone else? And the answer is no, I don't think so. However, can I find entrepreneurs who need my help and where I can really help them have that impact? I've realized the answer is yes. And I have a much better impact helping people succeed than trying to succeed on my own.
Wow, that's super interesting. And what made you want to work alongside entrepreneurs? Like, you could have stayed like in a company, like.
Yeah, I like projects in their infancy, like companies, and we're going to talk about that, but like companies from like 30 people to like 300 people is my sweet spot. It's really my Goldilocks, right? It's where I have like the most fun, I have the most impact. After 300, too big for me, silos, problems. Below 30, too small, no product market fit, I can't really help them. So like I love working that company size.
So you've worked alongside like successful entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Can you tell us, Guillaume, a bit more about what made those startups successful? Can you tell us a bit more about also your definition of success?
Yeah. Oh, well, their success is different than my definition of success.
That's true.
For sure. And every entrepreneur has a different definition.
Yes.
From a company perspective,
Yes.
Success is clearly defined by being able to like bring value to your customers, your clients on the long term, continuously deliver value. That's what it is. Okay?
Really
If you focus on the customer and you deliver value to them and they're happy with what they get and you're able to have them pay for that, it's success.
Yeah.
This is no other way to look at it. Like, your people are happy to pay you for something.
Exactly. But it's so easily said. I mean,
That is what it is.
Of course, there's a lot of
There's no other metric.
Yes.
Right? It's like the financial is like just a consequence of that. All of the rest, like your happiness of your employees, your ability to deliver value, share value for your employees, impact on the market, all of it is just because you can deliver value. Even though a product is a consequence of that. You build a product to deliver value. It's not the only way. You can deliver value without a product. If you have a consulting business, you don't have a product, you still have value.
You still have value.
You still have value. So value is the denominator of everything company-wide. So I think.
Why did you choose those specific companies to work with? Because there are a lot of entrepreneurs that want to like work with you. Why did you choose those?
Yeah, they are in B2B SaaS, which is where I have the most knowledge. So B2B software as a service.
Yes.
Marketing technology. I've been working in marketing technology for like MarTech for years now. Okay, I was a customer of all of those.
Sides, yeah.
I started as a customer, which means I know the product. I got value from them, and I liked what I was seeing. I said, I like that product. I'm a painful customer. I'm a really painful customer, which means I send a lot of tickets. Not everyone likes that. And some people say, oh, that's great ideas, I like it, give us more. And eventually that creates a relationship. The relationship sometimes evolves into like more. So I not so much choose companies more than I choose tools and vendors that I like their mission, I like their vision, and I feel that I can help contribute towards that mission and vision.
So you work with those companies because they contacted you or you've contacted them?
It depends. Usually I reach out to them to become a customer or to use the product. And some of them, like, I don't work with them, I'm still very close. Example, Zapier. I'm close to Zapier. I love the people at Zapier. I've been a customer since the very early days, but I'm not working with them.
You're not working with them.
And I maintain so many relationships like that. This customer IO, marketing tool, same thing, very close to them. I've been a customer multiple times. I don't work with them. It's like the people I work with are a small fraction of all the relationships I maintain.
Okay, very interesting. So talking about relationship, because we know that in entrepreneurship it's very important to surround yourself with people to build your network. Can you give us a bit tips and advices to the entrepreneurs that are watching today about how to build a network when you don't know anyone in your industry? Like, how do you start?
Yeah, you got to find people like me who are eager to test your product. The first thing is that it depends whether you have a product or you don't.
Yeah.
Now, if you have a product, you can reach out to people like me or others, like influencers in the market, and say, hey, like I'm doing this thing. I'd love to show you what it does. I think it can be helpful for you.
Right.
You got to really personalize your approach, all right? And usually people like me will be open to like a quick conversation and say like, yeah, sure, I'll look into it. Like no longer than like yesterday, I looked at a small company that's based in Chennai, India, that does like a segment competitor. They say, I want to show what we do. And I'm like, great, I'll look. And I took a 10-minute demo, I was giving them feedback, is this interesting? And like, sure, and they're like 3 guys in Chennai, right? But like, one never knows, right? So I'm open to all of that. If you don't have a product, it is harder.
It's harder, right?
I would recommend going through either an incubator, like, in France, the Family, Numa, or YC, or 500, or Techstars. I'd say help you surround yourself with people and also find, I'd say, what your vision is. Now, you most likely won't get into those if you don't have a strong vision at the beginning of a product.
Do you think everybody every entrepreneur founder can have that vision? What happens if you don't have a vision but you have a great product? But do you think it goes along with it?
Well, so let's do the first thing. If you're an entrepreneur, you call yourself an entrepreneur, you do not have a product, you do not have a vision, I would question whether you're an entrepreneur. What are you starting? Okay. Right? You have the desire too, but you are not really enterprising, starting. Right? In French, entrepreneur means to start something. If you're not starting anything, then I would question. Now, we're going to assume most people already have an idea of what they want to do, of what the product should be, right? The vision, the mission, I think it's important to work on those because you've got to scale down and you got to be able to excite people. Most of the time when I talk to great entrepreneurs, they're able to excite me not about what they have today, but what they will accomplish later. So what they have today, like they've worked on it, a couple of months, a year, 2 years, it's not much. The vision is like what I believe this thing can be many years from now. And can that be exciting for people? That is important. When I walk in the booths of the event here, and I talk to entrepreneurs, I feel the difference between those that have and those that don't. Oh. Very clearly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's like a higher potential of success in those people that have that vision?
Let's talk about success. What does it mean?
Yes.
Because you're totally allowed to be an entrepreneur, not have a vision, and you create what we call in the US a lifestyle business.
Okay, what's that?
Lifestyle business means a profitable business that you're not trying to scale being a huge company with VC funds, which is a business.
Exactly.
It's a business, right? You're gonna live out of it. It's a business, right?
Okay.
And there's nothing bad about that. If you can actually profit and live happily and pretty successfully from people who are paying you, that's success. That's success. That's success.
Exactly.
Okay? And you don't need a vision for that. Vision is necessary if you want to create, I'd say, something that's bigger than you, something that's bigger than what it is now, and that is going to be a huge company, usually VC backed, usually high scale, high growth. That requires a vision.
Okay.
Because now then you need to sell the future.
You meet so many entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Can we dive a bit in your like daily life? I mean, what do you do in a day? Like, what is the day of Guillaume Cabane?
So it's two different questions. I meet a lot of entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Then in a day, I have clients. So I work with my clients who are entrepreneurs, by the way. Now, if we go back to like entrepreneurs in themselves, all successful entrepreneurs I've met are somewhat crazy. They have
when you say they're crazy, what do you mean?
I said somewhat crazy.
Okay.
Usually, they have PTSD, so post-traumatic disorder, from having suffered. You almost never see an entrepreneur who's successful without going through like sufferance in the early years. Okay. It's never easy from the start. No one says, "Oh yeah, this was easy. Like I had this idea, boom, money, finish, profit." Never happens. People go through years of trying again and failing and trying again, and like losing customers and losing funding, losing VCs, like all of that, right? And so they suffer. They suffer so much that they are then stringent on costs. They are very careful where they spend the money. They're careful what they do. And so they react, and once they're successful, they still behave like if they were not successful, if they still had like a little, and so they still have that kind of like, that PTSD where they're scared. A lot of them are scared. They're scared of failing and destroying what they have now. They've come to a point where, if you think about it, you're 1 year in your business, you have almost no customers, no revenue. If you fail, little consequence, right? And so you have a high incentive to risk everything because there's everything to win and nothing to lose. Once you start being a successful company, it's got 100, 200 employees, like a couple million, like 10 million in revenue. Now the risk, I'd say, factor is much higher. You have a lot to lose.
Yes.
Everything to lose.
Exactly.
Because you know that the chances of success, like 9 out of 10 entrepreneurs fail. 9 out of 10 startups fail, not entrepreneurs. 9 out of 10 startups fail, okay? And only 1 to 3% of startups actually grow to become like something really big. Which means if you have it, you know the chances of you having it again is like 3%. It's small, so you don't want to waste it. And so you start being scared and like starting to have like mitigation tactics.
Yeah, and do you think they can handle the pressure? I mean, those entrepreneurs,
those who succeed, they can.
Okay.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, because there's a lot of pressure, no?
Well, that is survival bias. Yeah, because those who don't sustain pressure don't succeed.
Exactly.
So it's survival bias. Okay.
So we talked a lot about failure.
It's important.
Yeah.
Failure is way more important than success.
What is your definition of failure? I mean, how do you see failure in your journey and also in the journey of entrepreneurs?
So when I was doing growth
at
Segment and Drift, my job, I'm paid to fail. My job is to fail 7 out of 10 times. That's what I'm paid for. So I'm really good at failing. I have practiced failing.
Okay.
I'm really good at it, right? Because the job of growth is being doing experiments,
right?
being experimental. And if you succeed at most of the experiments, it means you're not trying crazy things enough, right? Or crazy enough things, right? It means you're not taking enough risks. Growth marketing is kind of like VC, right? You need to hedge your bets and do a lot of bets to have like outsized returns at a few of those.
So, like the companies you've been like working alongside with, I mean, have they all failed at some point in their journeys?
In some shape or form,
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Look at Segment. The first 3 versions of the product, 0. Miserable failure. Segment that we know today used to be a company called Class Metrics, which was a tool for teachers to analyze the engagement of the students on their computers. It's not a market. They realized that students that had computers in classrooms were just on Facebook anyways. It's not a market, right? Nothing there. And so
at some point, it's part of
Drift,
the journey, right?
Drift in the early days, before being a live chat, they tested something which is like a document annotation tool.
Yeah.
So they try and they try and they try, but like the ability to try and try again is what defines them.
Okay, so I know it's a bit difficult to say, but like, what are the 3 biggest lessons maybe you want to share with us today that you have, in your journey, or you have like worked with entrepreneurs? What are the 3 lessons we should take away today from you, Guillaume?
So the first thing is, for people who are employees, not entrepreneurs, people who are employees or who want to work in startups and who want to join successful startups, I've been lucky enough to have done that multiple times, right? Which is rare. And people want to know like what the recipe is, like what's the trick to like joining successively companies like Segment, Drift, and a couple of others, right? And the learning is I invest in those relationships for a long time. I build trust with the founders for a long time before I join.
Yeah,
if you look at
trust,
Segment, I joined them in 2016 when there were 50 people. For the record, they're like 400 now, okay?
Wow.
I joined them when there were 50 in 2016. But I exchanged emails. I signed up for the product. I sent emails to the founders in 2013 when there were 3 people. And from 2013 to 2016, I was sending emails and starting to learn and use the product, give them feedback and stuff like that, right? So 3 years of like investing in the relationship. Drift is the same thing, right? And so all of those I invest in a relationship not expecting return. Some of it do return, and those are great. Okay, so that's the first thing, is that invest in long-term relationships.
Very interesting, yeah.
Those are, we're in a small world, okay? Like, especially like I'm in B2B, MarTech, SaaS, maybe 10,000 companies. You see the same people all the time.
Yeah, you see the same faces, yeah.
And so you cannot burn bridges. And you've got to, if you have good network, which I'm lucky I have a great network, it creates an amazing impact. So that's the first thing, is like relationships. Relationships helps you hire people, helps you get VC money, helps you like get the right people to become customers. It helps everything.
It helps everything.
Everything.
Okay.
I'd say the second learning they have is differentiate. Differentiate from other projects and people, and try to have reasonable ego. Too often I have entrepreneurs that say, oh yes, I'm going to do this thing. And I says, okay, like the other company does something similar. And the entrepreneur says, oh yeah, but we do it better. I'm like, come on.
It's not like a differentiation, right?
Come on, like that's not a great argument. Like we do it better is not a great argument. And like, what tools do you use? How do you do your marketing? Like, and so learning is, if you do the same thing with the same approach and the same tools, you're not going to be different. You're not going to differentiate.
It's copying, right?
You're not going to win. Okay, so the same logic applies to your product that applies to marketing. If you do your product differently with a new MarTech stack or a different approach, the same needs to be true for your marketing. If you have a marketing team and you put them on like Marketo or MailChimp and like the usual tools, and your competitors have the same tools, you're gonna have the same impact. Unless you believe your marketers are 10x marketers and they can write 10x better copy, which is unlikely to be true, you're gonna have the same impact. So that is not great, which means you need to push your marketers, you need to push every silo of your company, every team needs to differentiate and do things differently.
How do you have the mindset of, okay, I have to be different? I mean, how do you think differently?
Yeah,
it's difficult, right?
I worked at Apple for 5 years, so think different is like kind of ingrained in my but
exactly. It's not easy, right, to do it. I mean,
yeah, but life is not easy.
Yes.
Building products is not easy, right? But like,
you're right.
I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it's the answer to being able to like create differentiation and be visible.
Okay.
That is the answer. Drift is a great example. Drift has a live chat. The tool, when it started, especially when it started, was very similar to Intercom and other live chats. It's a live chat. So if you can differentiate on the product, differentiate on the marketing, which is what Drift did significantly, and it worked really well. Really, really well. Okay? And it's always, Apple is a great example of a company that's able to differentiate through marketing. But yeah, so the second learning I think is differentiation. That is very clear. And I think the third one is try to be crazy.
I like that. I mean, you're always like telling you as to be
crazy is good.
Yeah.
Crazy is good.
Okay.
Crazy is really good. Conventional is not good.
Oh.
Okay? You're trying to have an impact. You're trying to like have a big impact and do things that others have not done. Different way. You got to be a bit crazy. You got to believe that things that others have failed at, you can succeed at. You got to believe that there's another way to do things. You got to have some of that craziness. I mean, if you go back to like Apple, I was at Apple when Apple launched the iPhone. So I remember that very well. If you look at how it was done, Apple did not hire people from the telco industry, did not come out with a phone that looked like any other phone, did not have a keyboard. It's like it was crazy, right? And by all measures, it was pretty successful. Yeah. Do you see anyone with a phone with a keyboard these days, right? So, and the same is true in lots of other, like, let's say, companies and products that are successful these days. It's like rethink the model completely. Like change. Like you're not going to succeed by playing the same game with the same rules. Okay, change either the rules of the game or change the space in which you're playing. Like you really like create a green space. There's a great book actually. It's called The Blue Ocean Strategy. Either blue ocean or create a green space. Create a space where like it's completely different. Where like you can compete on your own terms. That is like, I like that. I like seeing that. People who are crazy enough to believe that they can create a completely new space. Yeah.
That's so inspiring. And I mean, you work with entrepreneurs, but you work also with your clients.
Which are entrepreneurs?
Yeah, which are also entrepreneurs. So yeah, what I mean, like personally, what does it bring you for yourself? I mean, do you feel more motivated? Do you feel more open? I don't know. Like, what does it bring you as a quality in your personality?
Yeah, joy for me. Yeah. I used to run after money, and now that I'm older.
Now that you have money.
A bit. I realized I don't need that as much as I thought. Yeah, I realized that life, like there's kind of a plateauing effect, where like I think that's also why I'm not an entrepreneur. Is like if you look at like being an entrepreneur, and like what success means, it's usually we measure it in terms of financial success, like, which is unfortunate, but like it is, right? And the chances of having large financial success as an entrepreneur is like slim. It's rare. Okay, 1 out of 100. Okay, which means it's very Boolean. It's like a U-shaped curve. Like either it's zero or it's a ton of money, but most likely it's zero. And I'm not interested in a ton of money, and I'm not interested in zero. All right, I actually want something like in the middle range. And so something in the middle range for me means it's not a reasonable risk to try and be an entrepreneur. Okay. And so for me to reach the middle range, where money is no longer a question, complete financial independence is what I wanted, which is now done.
Okay, that was your goal at the beginning. Yeah?
At the goal, I wanted to be rich. Then I wanted to be financially independent, which is successful. Now it's done, and so now I'm just very happy to bring value to the entrepreneurs and to the companies, and have entrepreneurs come back to me and say, "Wow, it was really good working with you." Like it really helped us. Like that makes me happy.
Yeah, that's your fuel.
That makes me happy. Yeah, when people give me positive feedback and say, "Oh, it was really good. You helped us with that," or like, "We couldn't have done this without you." It's the best thing in my day. The best thing.
What do you fear the most in life? That was a tough one.
That's a big one. I mean, on the personal side, I have a lot of fears. I've got kids. So I fear a lot of things, right? I've got kids, of course. Other than that, I think it's, as everyone, you know, the fear of being discovered that I'm a fraud after all, and that I've been like, yeah, everyone has that fear, right? That, you know, you have the imposter syndrome. And so like...
It's interesting to hear that from you, you know, because as stage entrepreneurs, we really feel like the imposter syndrome is there, but from you, maybe we felt...
It grows. So bad news, it grows with time, with success. Because like when you're like a small entrepreneur, like a moderately successful, let's say influencer or marketer, whatever, like again, like what are you frauding about? Like not much.
Sometimes like people fake to, you know, like they're
Yeah, but like the perception of like the imposter syndrome grows with your popularity. You think like, am I really worth all of that? Can I really justify all of that? And so the more you grow, the more you think like, hey, I'm just like a random guy. And there's kind of like a self-reinforcement circle, right? Which is like, it's kind of a bit vicious. It's interesting. So I think that one fear is definitely like, actually, someone's going to say, oh no, G's actually a fraud. And like, he's not as good as he says, right?
Okay.
So, which is why I try not to talk too much about my achievements, and I try to have other people talk about my achievements.
Oh, I know. Like a mirror effect, right? Mm-hmm. I see. And plus, you said you were a father, so congrats for that. How do you manage your time? Maybe for like entrepreneurs, because time management is something very important. Like, how do you manage your time between your personal life and your professional life? Like,
it sucks.
Okay, the work that everybody's
word of motivation. It sucks. Yes. No, it's so.
Do you like
it's also I deliberately spend a lot of time with my family on purpose. I will be home very early, and I'll spend time with my wife, my kids every morning and every evening, and then I'll work at night. So usually I'm at home at like 6 p.m. and I am with my family from 6 to 9 p.m. and then I work from 9 to midnight. And then I'm up at like around 6:30 a.m. The kids wake me up, and yeah, so it's intense, all right. And once you have kids, I used to work on weekends. I no longer can work on weekends because like kids are there. Like I'm not going to be working while the kids are there, right? So like
that's great. That you really allow yourself to have time with your family, and even if you have a busy schedule. But yeah,
it forces you to make more choices. You got to be more deliberate. You can no longer take on like random stuff because
you're
then
really like picky now with someone asking you to like meet for a coffee or meet.
Yes.
Yeah, really double like think at the same time.
Yeah. So I now have someone helping me with that,
yes,
which is important, and she selects those things, and she knows she protects my family time also. Avoid like when people like ask for coffee on the weekends. I'm like, nope, sorry, that's not happening.
Yeah.
Or we're having coffee at the playground.
Oh.
Your call.
That's another option.
I did that once with a VC.
Really?
Yeah, I have a VC in my neighborhood in San Francisco, and she has kids in the same playground that we go. So we meet at the playground.
Wow.
So we have VC meetings at the playground, which is like, it's typically San Francisco.
Wow, love it. Okay,
Yeah.
great. So thank you so much, Guillaume, for your time.
Sure thing.
We have so valuable advices from you.
Yeah.
So today, last thing, maybe we're in SaaStock, Dublin. Why are you here today? I mean, what is important? Tell us a bit more about SaaStock and what is important for you to be here.
For me, it's a great opportunity to re-meet with the European SaaS community, which I come from, which I like. So I have lots of friends, a lot of people like that I know, business meetings. It's again, we talked of relationships, trust building. I'm here for that. I'm here to maintain relationships, keep in touch with the people that I meet every year. How are things going? Can I help you? Like, what can I do? Intros, meet VCs. How's the market going? All of that. So like, I maintain like hundreds of relationships. That's what I'm here for. Some of my clients are here. G2 is here. Madkudu is here. So I work with those clients also. A couple of speaking engagements. I did the Growth workshop. So yeah, that's what I'm here for. I speak often enough, and I go to. So for me it's important. That's how I maintain and say the relationships.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Guillaume. Maybe one last thing we didn't know about yourself. Something like I don't know, something. Maybe you're a bit crazy about that. What's the craziest thing you have done?
Yes, I'm a Pastafarian. I'm an ordained minister of the Pastafarian Church, and I can do weddings if you want.
Wow.
So I'm a Pastafarian, which means for those who don't know, there's a god made of spaghetti and meatballs that floats in the air and that touched me with his noodly appendage. And it is a recognized church in the US with tens of thousands of people, mostly young internet folks. And so I'm an ordained minister, which means in California I can do weddings.
Wow, so if it's not in the playground, it's in the church.
Yes.
Okay, love it, Guillaume. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you guys also learn a lot with Guillaume. So we'll put also description, everything in the link below. And I'll see you soon for another episode of SaaStock.
Ramen, my friends, ramen.